Welcome back, Mr. Witness.
Sedo, bismillah.
In the last session, we had a discussion about the demonstration at Westville. We discussed about your arrest by the paramilitary intervention unit. We discussed your detention at the said paramilitary intervention unit at Canifing. You told the commission how you were transferred to Mile 2 Central Prisons. And we were also discussing about your detention and torture at the NIA headquarters. May we continue from there? You may tell us after you were taken out from the panel room, what happened next?
They took us into another smaller room. We were all put together there. And then we were handcuffed. And we were returned the way we came.
Can you tell this commission how many of you there were?
We were 26.
So you're telling the commission that 26 of you were returned back to Mile 2 Central Prisons?
No, we didn't all return together.
How many of you were returned?
The 20 of us were returned. Out of those 20 people, 2 of them were people who were students. I don't know how those people were released. Because after the beatings took place, I didn't see them again at the prison.
Apart from yourself, was anyone else tortured at the NIA?
Ibrahim Sise.
Yes, Ibrahim Sise.
Ibrahim Janko Sise.
Ibrahim Janko Sise.
They
broke two of his teeth. Those 2 broken teeth. When we came out, he showed me the 2 broken teeth. I helped him to cut off part of his trouser leg. And I put those 2 broken teeth inside that cloth, and I told him to keep it.
For tomorrow.
For tomorrow, yeah.
Earlier on, you had also indicated that from the list that we have tendered as 167, there were about 5 individuals who are now deceased from that list. Do you know whether their deaths had anything to do with the ordeal that they suffered from the torture at the NIA?
Afura tele londo to bang fo ila saya nying asababuta koleya le mentaki NIA la sansango no wato mene be muto kono bang.
Ha Lamin Maron na saya wakata wallet.
Yes, it was Lamin Maron's death was caused by the ordeal he went through.
It was Kabirim Mota torturing center.
Because when we left the torturing center, well, he started by yawning. He said Lamin Fati put his hand in his mouth. He said from the moment Lamin Fati put his hand in his mouth and took it out, he started yawning and vomiting.
Mamfuta dulanyinto kumolu futata dame bar nim futata je mba kumonyin labana fola wolto makati abe kumolu sata kanya dame.
Well, we have not yet reached the stage where he explained everything to me at Makati, but when we reach there, I will explain the rest of what he said.
Thank you, Mr. Touray. You've referred back to Lamin Fati.
Mr. Touray, and Mr. Lamin Fati to for Kotanke.
It is correct to say that this is Lamin Fati, NIA agent.
Lamin Fati, NIA agent.
Yes. Lamin Fati, NIA do Gulani Kodi.
Can you tell this commission if he played any role in your torture or any of the tortures that you are aware of?
Commission Lamin Fati for Adafanam Bulumata Kula Bang, Tembo and Ibetarake Tajire Waranto K Bute.
Atalota Nkunda Kwe Lamoina, Yelamoy, Cabri Ako Yelamoy. So Atalota Nkunda Konyako for Usen Dabola to Dunin.
Yes, because it was this same Lamin Fati, when they were beating me, he came and stood over me and told them to wait. When they were waiting, he asked me, "You people, were you sent by Hussein Dabo to do what you have done?"
You may continue.
Then?
Kabri ayo fanyanka kwani Hussein manyinkala mota Hussein mambo nyinkala mantolbe nkela tu moment.
When he asked me, "Were you sent by Hussein Dabo?" I said no. Hussein Dabo didn't send us. In fact, he was not even aware of our demonstration when we started, when we mobilized.
Also, continue.
That's the time when he was going out, he said to them to continue and beat me.
From flat.
They beat me until I became flat. The time I became aware or conscious of my surrounding was the time when I woke up and they told us to go out. And I ascended from the table.
Mr. Touray, do you know what position the said Lamin Fati was holding at the NIA?
Mr. Touray, ni Lamin Fati toning. Yalo na ba mumakamale babulu ma membe do kola nying NIA je.
Ani malo mumakamale babulu.
No, I don't know what rank he was holding.
At the time you were at the NIA, do you know who the DG was?
Wato men na albenung NIA je. Yalo na jumale mkordati yoti NIA je ba.
Yankuba Baji.
Yankuba Baji.
Do you also know who was the head of operations at that time?
Yalo na NIA do go be nyaton ko jumale marlen do ko nyinna do go be tamando ikafme operations.
Operation commander. Operation commander atele Yankuba Baji. Sol Baji. Yankuba Baji, sorry.
Yankuba Baji.
If you do not remember, you do not have to say any name to this.
I don't remember.
No, I cannot remember. I forgot.
Thank you. We will later explain to the Commission why you forgot most of these incidents. After the torture at the NIA, can you tell this Commission if anything else happened?
Yes, when something happened to me, from the moment of that beating,
absent-minded.
I start forgetting things quickly, easily, which I can say is part of absent-mindedness.
Because
Because I can discuss with you right now. And I'll go out of this room, then I will not be able to remember anything of that.
First time,
the first time when I came here, I gave my statement.
Na support the government loptan kaitol me ko nga fenga ungina taw fala na saita koteke.
I was told to bring along my support documents from the hospital, but even those documents, I forgot them. It's all because of the absent-mindedness.
So you're telling this commission that the effect it had on you is that it caused you some memory loss.
Munta ilapta kamen for commission wala mnyindiko nyimko nyimbe ko ay ko yame sabu ma wala mnyindiko ikatria nyina lale.
I will sabu ma.
Yes. That's what it brought on me.
Now, Mr. Touray, can you tell the commission what happened after the beatings?
Silang hanin kabi Mr. Touray afa commission ay munene nata nake biring budero nyang kering kola ikang.
Budero kabila botala natam fintin le kamurunde prison kodeke.
After the beating, they took us out and we were returned to the prison.
You're referring to Mile 2 Central Prisons?
Because prison wala Mile 2 kaso bumbate.
Yes.
Can you tell the commission around what time you were taken back?
Silang hanin kabi isa fono commission ay yinketa montoro wadi jumala ke murundi kasi bumbato Mile 2.
Around 4:45 ma phone.
Around 4:45.
Was it in the morning or in the evening?
Samandalam bang fo ularo.
In the morning because ngaji be ela moto pick up on na fonko time on into calendar time on into ngaji suffering je watol. It was bidatu moment na fana ngat pick up wala nyato fana jibe ngat time o jibe wala yata na o ben hakilo kono.
Yes, when we were going, I looked at the time on the pickup dashboard, and when we were being returned also, I looked at the time on the pickup dashboard.
Can you please tell this commission what happened next after you were taken back to Mile 2 prisons?
Ningabi fo isa fono commission ay kotange munana na ke bri ye bondi NIA ye murundi Mile 2 kasi bumbato kotange.
At the same time ye murundi kabri ye murundi yengindi.
When we were returned to the prison, we alighted from the vehicle.
Ye kenol bonna.
And the handcuffs were removed.
And dunta yendundi.
And we were put inside.
Murta yento register kotake ani mol million samana yolo fana register kotake.
And they came and wrote down our names again, and the people who escorted us, their names were also written down.
Momo ye murundi la cell kono kotake.
And each person was returned to your cell again.
Kabiru wolungo la yen murundi na cell kono tiltang anin kononto.
When I was returned to my cell, 19 days, I was sealed for 19 days. During those 19 days, I don't take bath and I don't do anything else. If you see me going out, it is I have to go and empty my kimber pot and come back. Even my food is given to me through a small hole which was on the door. Even if I need water, that's where they just pass the water to me. But there was somebody who is who's really sympathized to me there. And not me alone, he sympathized all of us. He's called Sidi Jaite.
Sidi Jaite, I pen fonko do soro borkeso do soro akadi na momo killing.
Sidi Jaite was the person who was giving us painkillers. He gives one tablet to each person.
So ninga min fa so mo koteke.
When we drink that till the following day,
prison department
but we tried to get medication from the prison department themselves, but they said no, they will not provide us with medication. And even any police officer, the prison police officers, when we call them and tell them, they will say, no, we are not empowered to provide medication for you. I told them, look at us. We have injuries on our bodies and we are suffering. Now we need medication, and now you are saying that you cannot provide any medication, so we are going to be left like this in these rooms. We were left like that until when our wounds were dried up. Within those 19 days, we went on complaining. And then we went on complaining and telling them, 19 days we are sealed, we don't go out, we don't sit out. Can't you allow us to go out and sit down outside like others? We always tell Keba Sise in the morning when he comes around to check on us. Because he was the person in charge of the area where we have been locked up. He's the senior man around that area. And again, we repeated the complaint to him and told him, for 19 good days we have been sealed in here. So on that 19th day, he said, okay, now I will try my level best so that you people will be allowed to come out. So we were not allowed to go out that day. The following day when he came, he said, let them open the door so that we can go and take bath. We went and took bath. So after taking bath, we were also allowed to rest like all the others. But we later had some information. David Kebasi ndolbula because ndolmu ya jamme jawoldi ndolmate jawoldi munatena ndol abendol bulala ndol nga free. Then later on we had this news that David Colley said, as far as we are enemies of Yaya Jammeh, why should Kebasi allow us to come out and be free inside the compound? So police will demand be kacha kangala so mbella moy kangala so enantana Kebasi say hata mindi fo yala ala joining ya kuntu. Then I heard this from the police, the prison police themselves. They were discussing this, and this brought a problem for Kebasi. In fact, it resulted in the deduction of his salary. Because the reason was that why should he allow us to come out ourselves and be free? So Keba yala jokunta ameta kamfa kama amana na tunoje ngamwe eko aresaenda. Then after the deduction of his salary, he stayed there for some time. Because of anger, he said he cannot continue the job, and later on I heard that he resigned from the job.
So Mr. Touray, you're telling this commission that David Colley, the then DG of Mile 2 Central Prisons.
Mr. Touray, coming for commission, well, I'm Director General Member Nunje David Colley
was not happy that an officer assisted you in taking a bath.
Amanse wonyin ko do gula membe kasibungo doje ay katakol fere ay altul dema pour ka ale finti aliyeku.
After 19 days of being locked up in a cell.
Mbo melne altal da maroko no selo kono dinkira kilimoto fotil tang anin kononto.
Yes. Among kontana he was not happy.
Can you continue to tell this commission about the other treatments that you received in Mile 2 Central Prison?
Silang hanin kabi fo isitenteng kata ora yavo commission e kabring inarna mun maranya sifa dole kala ko take wato men albe Mile 2 kaso kono je.
Ntarrawo bon wal yendun ne selol men kono mbeduna je tumo mena e ponsol men beje ye be bondi. When we were going into those cells, there were small sponges inside those rooms, small mattresses. But after this incident, all those mattresses were removed from the cells. Because the beds were very small, and there were bricks. I have to take off my shirt and spread it. And as I lie down on that shirt till daybreak.
Mr. Touray, were you allowed visitation from your family?
Mr. Touray foi kasilo di alal bampuru albadingol kanal kumpa boje ba.
No, they didn't allow that.
At that point, did you have any legal representation?
What hola foi mo sotal bambe lole luala karola ka me legal representative.
What hola mo ba association natana fero ke.
That was the time when the Bar Association set a plan.
So menketa Antuman J Lakaford.
Which was Antuman Gay and his group. Those are the people who got up and stood for us.
At this time, were you already taken to a court of law?
We were never taken to a court till the time when these people got up and stood for us.
You may continue.
After that time, so one day we were taken out and they told us that we were going to court on that day. We went to court. We were there. And we were later informed that the court case has been adjourned. But before the adjournment of the case, we complained that because where we were taken was a very difficult place.
So among favor for simbondino je yensamba remind puru nina families in your genova.
So we requested for us to be removed from that place and let them take us to remind so that we can see our families. That's the complaint we made on that day. When we made that complaint,
bayara fang ning alonu now complaining and they wala ngatu mbedamenu.
On the whole, we should have kept quiet and remain where we were.
Because
because where they took us at the remand wing, yeah, that place is very difficult. Because if we are lying down, we lie down as they pack sardines in a tin of sardines.
So, ekela wale nyama fufana because ni yela karakele kan ni batata eka wulle yela ma yela karado kan kote.
Because you have to lie down on one side. If you are tired, you just get up and turn and lie down on another side.
Obening kolea anin kando.
And that goes along with hardship, difficulty, and heat.
The benda remind benda selo memfe.
The cell I was put inside the remand wing.
Benda Yusufa Jaite la cell lefe.
I was in the cell with Yusufa Jaite.
Yusufa Jaite la cell kono na nte tarta wolto.
That cell where Yusufa Jaite was, that's the cell I was in. We were 25 people in that one cell. 25 of us were in that cell. Because the first day I came in there, I resisted saying that I cannot stay here because it just looked like a burial or it looked like a cemetery. But I saw that, well, people like me are just lying inside that hole. Then Yusufa talked to one young man there and told him, you get up and lie down on the other side.
Because ninga sikarto demand na molbul muka sikarto sabab barimbe sikarto demand na mbate jola wa sikarto la puru ala lara wonyincho.
Because what I did was that because when I am in there, if I demand cigarettes, when they give it to me, I have to pay that young man the cigarettes that have been given to me so that I can get his place. Because in that hall that there was a toilet. So when we are all lying down at night, anybody who wants to go to the toilet, you get up, you can go to the toilet in the room there.
wolto mo kamote kemba poto katar lori wolto ye fanen dim warankaten tara kamata tala mo betulo bela.
And the kemba pot is placed just near the door, and there was a small piece of cloth which was hanging around the kemba pot. So at night, if you are going to the toilet, these other people will be in the room there, hearing everything that is going on at the toilet.
So wakemba poto fana ko ne katabon alka asinne.
And also to go and empty the kemba pot, we took it by turns.
So na futatema for yeta bon wom for sold.
And if the turn reaches you, it's by force. You are going to empty the kemba pot.
But niatra awo fana manke no fana esi mota me alon ko ka jo sikartola bari ni tawla amari ni tawla esa jo la teta kuye.
If you cannot go and empty it yourself, then you have to pay somebody with cigarettes who will go and empty it for you and wash the kemba pot.
So abewole nyam.
That's how we were staying in that room.
So, Mr. Touray, it is correct that you're telling this commission that it was a court order that now remanded you in prison?
Mr. Touray, silang amunta ikamen for commission wala minti ko kitio wala kangudi pour yal samba remand wala yal samba kasore jalbe damendo.
Yes.
Is it also correct that the court gave you another date to appear before?
For nyala nyindi fana ba fo kitio lungo do fana ndi alla ba lungo men nan nyanda kal murundi nan kiti do fana fo moyro e
nga sinya fulaleke.
Yes, we went to the court on 2 occasions.
After
that, after those 2 occasions,
on the 14th June,
on the 14th of June, it coincided with the 9th day of the Ramadan. Then we were taken out.
11
of us.
Mr. Touray, can you tell the commission who you're referring to as had taken you out?
Niko yal findindi fo isa amari to fo me yal findindi ba.
David Colley.
It was David Colley.
Continue.
And then
Yambondi.
They took us out.
And Minister of Interior.
Plus the Minister of Interior.
Wale Yambonda kong into refer Makati.
He took us out and said that we have been referred to go to Makati.
Mr. Touray, can you tell the commission the name of the then Interior Minister?
Jumala munung Interior Minister Owarola.
Usman Sonko.
It was Usman Sonko.
You may continue.
Tenten Kaboro.
Kabiri enatan noma because danni binal noma eka hani 12 o'clock ibe mol be dundilal.
Because even before they came for us, around 12 o'clock, everybody has to go in.
Nibe momo sambal nang eka mo be dunde watola.
If they bring anybody else also, you will go in at the same time.
So mbejedo ngaje ye mbedundi watola around 12.
And we were just there, and I saw that all of us were put inside at 12.
In a list or not?
They came with a list.
So
I was in my cell.
Momodou Touray.
They said Momodou Touray. I said yes. They said come out. I went out. They asked me, where are your belongings? I told them I didn't come here with anything. Just these clothes I'm wearing. These are the things I came here with. Except I had a bag where the food that people gave me, that's the food I put inside that bag. I went out with that bag. I went out and find other people outside. People like Fal and Sonko, Nogo Injai, Fatmata Jawara, Fatou Kamara, Modou Ngom, Ibrahima Jabang, Kafubayo, Alaji Fati,
If you don't remember all the names, it does not matter.
Okay. So
then we were taken out. When we were taken out already,
bari janni ben sambalan ko go nteta malon kata damen janni bita fo nga futa uselma nga fay al kan sambala ben sambakan dam malo.
I told them I cannot go like this before you are taking us, before you take us out, because I don't know where you are taking us. And before that, I want to inform Ousseynou Dabo that you people are taking us. They wanted to refuse. They wanted to refuse.
So first time
I also resisted. I forced myself and went to the wing where Ousseynou and others were held.
Mr. Touray, can you tell this commission what wing you're referring to?
Niko wing ibe mu munala wing la foka muna woti.
It was the time when they were taking us out to take us to Makati.
Because
Because we didn't know where we were going. And when I questioned them, they said they don't know where they are taking us because they were just given the authority to take us out and take us to somewhere.
Mr. Touray, thank you. You referred to an Ousseynou Dabo.
Ousseynou Dabo tof.
A particular wing.
Oh yeah, at fanambe no dinkira dole ton.
Just want to understand better for the commission. Which wing are you referring to?
Iko afanambe fanna dole to lonu. Muni ibe muni ko be fanna dole, be fanna jumal tonu.
Remind me part fulalti.
There are two sections at the remind. There was a big division between us and where Hussein and others are. It was a big, tall wall between us. Hussein and others were on the left-hand side and we were on the right-hand side. Even we go in there. I went to Ousseynou there. I said to him, Ousseynou, he said yes. I stood at their door because they were also put inside and their door was locked already. I said to him, well, these people have come for us and they said they are going to take us away. And I don't know where they are taking us. He said, is that so? I said, yes. He said, okay, have faith in Allah and just go along with them.
Okay.
I said, okay. That's how we went out. I went and stood in a queue.
So, the
paramilitary officers who were there, leader, he stood in front of me. He told me, here we are here to collect you people. We are just people who were sent.
So
we will take you away. You people have been entrusted for us to take you. I asked him, where are you taking us? He said, no, let's just go. Wherever we are going, when we reach that place, you will know.
Mr. Touray, do you know the name of the person who came to pick you up?
No, I don't know him.
If you were to see him again, would you recognize him?
No, I will not recognize him.
Continue to tell the commission where you were taken to.
So,
when we boarded the vehicle,
mile 2.
We went out of mile 2. We headed towards Serakunda.
Westfield.
When we arrived at Westfield,
so
then they headed towards Tabokoto. They were beating other vehicles around and told them to give way. But at that time, we were handcuffed together, two to a handcuff. And we were on board a truck and we were made to sit down on the floor. And you have to sit down and open your legs. Somebody will sit down between your open legs and his hand is handcuffed to another person's hand. That's how we were made to sit on this truck, in this truck.
Because baby otumola baby mo baby de mo malon kan samba da jama ya mutanun ko foi kan samba kanil laile.
Because everybody among us, all of us were agitated and angry because some of us thought that we were being taken to Kanilai.
Modungom besirinde anga fa enka ko nko sayam kilineti. Ngai ko alembula yen samba da wala alkana fengali ngata dron.
Modungom was sitting nearby. I said to him, now, death comes only once. Wherever they want to take us, let's just go. Let's allow them to take us wherever they want to take us along.
Mr. Touray, can you tell this commission where they ended up taking you?
Mr. Touray silanga fo commission nyala ba woni inara na samba mintole.
Narana tambi Kanilai yen samba Makati.
Then later on we passed Kanilai and we were taken to Makati.
Can you tell this commission where in Makati you were taken?
Makati minto yal samba damendo.
Janjambure prison.
Janjambure prison.
Continue to tell the commission what happened after you arrived at Janjambure prisons.
Silang hanika bi afo commission ya afo biring alfura da Janjambure kasibungoto munenara na ke wodo fana.
Furata kasibungoto tembo menna ambe futale je tembo menna around 50 mafon, around 6 to 7 mafon.
When we arrived at the Janjambure prison, it was around from 6 to 7 in the evening. When we arrived and we were alighted, we made to alight from the vehicle. When it was time for us to come off the truck, they will remove the handcuff from the hands of the two people chained together. We come down one by one.
So in Gita,
after we all came down, we went to the reception of the prison.
So
when we reached their reception, we found a woman there. I don't know the name of this woman. We were standing there. Then they went to call her from a place where she was camped. But when she arrived, what she came along with us, we saw that she was wearing clothes, material of Yaya Jammeh's pictures on the clothes.
So
they said her boss was on leave at that time.
So
she came and took our file. The big hall where we started, we were removed there and took us into another hall, which was behind the first hall. We found another 31 people inside that second hall. When we joined them, we became 42 people. We asked them. They said they were arrested since on the 9th of May. And the reason for their arrest was when we were being taken to court. That's the time when they came out and they were also arrested and taken away. The room where we found them was very, very hot. Because if you take bath and come out, the sweat that you were having on your body and you go and take bath, you will come back again with the same sweat. I asked them, since at what time were you here? They said they spent 1 month, 15 days there.
Mr. Touray, the people that you found at Janjambure,
Mr. Touray, any movement at Janjambure, Kasibungoraje.
Do you know what party supporters they were?
Yala party kanunte jumal moldem.
UDP supporters.
They were UDP supporters.
Were there any women amongst them?
No, they were only males. There was no female among them.
In your batch, were there women amongst you?
itela kafo nyi mol kono be kafo men kono fo muso be wol kono laba
muso sababe je.
Yes, there were 3 women in our group.
Were you all taken to the same cell area?
fo yal be samba sel fanna kilingol taba
Ani musoli ye fanso remaino soto je.
No, women had their own remand wing there.
Can you tell us how long you were detained in Janjanbureh?
silam fo isa fo no nye wadi jellel si italta maroko no janjambure law kasibu ngodo je
Are kelen til tanne lulu.
1 month, 15 days.
Can you tell this commission if anything else happened in Janjanbureh?
silan hani ngabi fo isa fo no commission fo ku ndabo tawla fo kudo fana nata kela jela ban janjambure kasibu ngodo je
Mbesiringe
I was there
for a meter.
for some time.
Lunkele enata suba mafan
One day they came early in the morning,
around 5.
around 5 a.m.
Announcement sort of ko bimbita court le.
And we had an announcement saying that we were going to court on that day.
Ko mbita court mintole.
I said, where are we going to court?
Ko mbita court Jara, Mansa Congo.
They said we were going to court in Mansakonko.
Mr. Touray, who told you that you were being taken to court on that day?
ulungol ni jumala ko bi bal sambala court le mansa konko
Giso.
It was G. Sow.
You may continue.
tenteng
Giso le ya fonye.
G. Sow gave us that information,
Akonye bial bita court le.
saying that today you are going to court.
Bari now court nimbita atelekatara marlen na kol na atelekata.
Because when going to that court, he is the person we go along with. He is responsible for all our things.
Okay, na first day,
Our first day,
kabirin tara yendu ni troko kono,
when we were made to board a truck,
yenkene.
we were chained again.
Yo Fati Kamara ne Fatma Jawara,
Fatu Kamara and Fatmata Jawara,
yawala kene yobala.
they were chained together.
No ko njay,
Nogo Njai,
ko sa bulu ko ndimo be katerine.
because one of her fingers was broken,
Abulo be yitirin,
and her finger was swollen.
ko ba kene la.
They wanted to put a chain on her
Ko ala
hand.
kana keno kenyina.
I told them, don't put a chain on this
Abulo be
hand.
katira abulo be yitirin dal bina keno la la.
Look, her hand, her finger is broken. Now it's swollen, and you want to put a chain there.
Ko ngande wanta na hajore ngana.
They said, let me keep quiet. That's not my business. Let me not say that.
Inatana keno ka abulo.
Then she was handcuffed.
Natanata
We went.
be sunkaro kono mbitaka
It was in the Ramadan. When we were going,
bebe sundine.
we were all fasting.
So ndara fo wulo la jang.
We went until into a very far place in the forest.
Ma Fatmata Jawara na foko alafte jala mutalala.
Then Fatmata Jawara said she wanted to ease herself.
Iko ntalola. Iko talola.
They said they will not stop.
Ngamoto ko allo iko talola.
We said to them, let them stop. They said no, they will not stop.
Moto nyi nata na pana.
Then the vehicle has a breakdown.
Moto pana ta.
The vehicle broke down.
So paramilitary men kido be bulu jite dulal mota.
So the paramilitary officers who were with us came down and they were having guns. However, all of us were handcuffed, but we tried and alighted from the vehicle.
But Janu Bekara Fatumata Galamuto Nimbala Tembomena, I ala teaming Dankaso, I will do a kota. Sorry, teaming Dankaso, Mbe Yamfodan, I will do a kota, I Jalamutawalokon.
But I have to beg for forgiveness here. Fatmata Jawara had to ease herself inside her cup, which she uses to drink tea.
So, Okola Motonat Napana.
Then after that, the vehicle broke down.
Natana Gim Betata and Jalamota.
Then we all alighted from the vehicle and went to ease ourselves.
But Alanat Nake wo tiltan, curriculum tiltan Lulonka, Kitty, maybe Aramisa, Nimfutata, Joe, Motokapana or Dinkerato.
But with, I don't know whether it was the grace of Allah. Every Thursday when we reach that same spot, that's where the vehicle gets a breakdown. The same truck, whenever we reach that spot, it will break down. We have to sit down.
Ye pick up fula or lua tanan koteke waliena yenanka makoteke ngasi nyoka koteke ngata kitidula.
And they will bring 2 more pickups to pick us from that spot and take us to the court house.
Janimbe futala.
Before we reach,
Kata time kata back.
it really gets late. And that's all along with hardship.
So mbewolokono.
That's how we were faring.
For kitio ye enana lungolondi.
Until they decided to pick a date.
Na futa follow kitidula.
Our first arrival at the courthouse.
Ekoye kitio adjourn.
They said the court has been adjourned.
Kitio adjourn nkola.
After the adjournment of the case,
yen samba Mansakongo police station.
We were taken to the Mansakongo police station.
Mfutata.
When we reached there,
but court yengina foko ni mamurundi no my 2 president yen samba Mansakongo. Yen samba Makati. But
what the court said was that if they cannot take us to Mile 2, let them take us to El Sambaming.
Kambonde mani man sambano Mile 2 yen murundi Makati.
If they cannot take us to Mile 2, let them return us to Makati.
So sa ko ngata moto batu.
They said, let us go and wait for a vehicle.
Ndara moto batu police station.
We went to the police station to wait for a vehicle there.
Coming for a police station.
When we reached the police station,
they
opened the cell. They said, let's go inside the cell. The ladies were sat over behind the counter. We went in. I started talking. I said to my people, this cannot be possible because this is not what brought us here. We didn't kill anybody. We didn't destroy anybody's property. We have not done anything to anybody. As far as the court order was to take us back to the prison, why are they putting us in a cell here?
So for what was seated at
Then later on, a vehicle came and we were made to board the vehicle and they took us back to Makati. Our second trip, when we came,
the same time court adjourned.
At the same time again the case was adjourned. We were taken back to the same place again. We found that the cell doors were opened and they decided to spill water inside the cells. I was the first person to go in. When I stood at the gate of at the door of the cell, I said nobody will go inside these cells.
Paramilitary,
that place
immigration, police
because the place was full. Paramilitary officers, immigration, police, they were all there. Even soldiers were there.
Because in
I said whether it is life and death, whatever happens, no one will go into these cells. Why do you have to put water inside the cells? And for us, in fact, why do you have to bring us here?
So and
they brought out a bench. They put it at the doors of the cells and said, let us sit down. That's where we sat down and the ladies sat on another bench.
For motor nata.
Until the vehicle arrived.
So kabir motor nata yemfintin mbulata motor yembeken.
When the vehicle arrived, we went out and we were all handcuffed again and placed on board the vehicles.
Murta koteke.
We returned. Whenever we come, that's the place where we will always sit down. That's where we always sit down before they return us back. Until the day they said the case has been terminated. At the termination of the case, they said judgment took. They did the judgment on the day they did the judgment. They said we have been jailed for 3 years
because of
because we have we have done something which is akin to misconduct, something like misconduct.
Paramilitary la helmet kotolu miliyan ko teta ani la gada fonkol mil be teta wo koto mali wala sikana ye jurumi kontrol le yoti ani bereba.
And they brought broken helmets and some other broken things and stones, and they said we were the people who committed a crime like destroying those things.
So the court found you guilty.
And
you were sentenced to 3 years.
But atara otumo lawyer mandarantol.
But at that time, we have not been represented by any lawyer. All the trips we went there was no lawyer who stood for us. When we reach the place, they all talk, but nobody among us is allowed to talk. Even if they come and bring your file and call your name, we are always sitting down and bend our heads. Because our lawyers told us not to answer to them, because the crime didn't happen at that place. If the crime happened or whatever happened at Serekunda. Why should they take the case to that place? So if they talk to us, let's ignore them.
But Mr. Touray, you're telling this commission that besides that fact, you were still convicted.
Mr. Touray,
and you were sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. Can you tell this commission where you were serving your sentence?
They took us back to Makati. But the day we were leaving the courthouse, after the judgment was delivered, we all got up and stood and said Allah Akbar 3 times. That coincided with rains coming down. It was on a Thursday. So it rained heavily on that day, and we decided to sing the anthem of the country. And still it was raining. It was a very big rain. So they said we cannot wait for the rain to subside. So and we were chained together again. We boarded the truck and sat on the floor of the truck. All of us became wet. Our bodies became wet. We arrived around 7 o'clock prayer time. So when we arrived, that's how we stayed. So we took off our wet clothes, and some people gave us some things to wear. So we wore those clothes and took off the wet ones from our bodies. We dried those things till the following day. The following day, they brought jumpers. Very dirty jumpers.
Mr. Touray, just to clarify, so after the judgment was given, you were taken back to Janjanbureh prison.
Mr. Touray, ko purka jansene yandi. Biring kitio nyeng kunduta mansa Kongo. Inatala murundi Janjanbureh kasibungol to kotake.
Yes, we were taken back to the Janjanbureh prison. The following day, the jumpers they brought were very dirty. I said to them, people who come here, you give them new jumpers. I said to them, now you bring these dirty jumpers for us and want us to wear this. Nobody will wear these jumpers here. Because the man there, they call him Ji So, and he's from Kiang. He happens to be my bantamate. Then I told him, nobody will wear these jumpers here.
So, they
then left us. We wore our clothes again. There were things, some clothes which were not worn by anybody. So some people wore those clothes. They said there were not enough uniforms. The dirty ones that they brought, some people decided to go and wash those things. And they were divided between us. Those were the things we wore. That's how we stayed there. One day,
prisoner police
there were 2 prison police officers. One of them is called Mutu Mutu. Another one is called Benghazi. This man called Mutu Mutu, he was a citizen of Janjambure.
So,
this man called Benghazi, he is an indigene of Kanilai. But wherever we are, they always want to create problems for us, these 2 people. Because one day I had an argument with Benghazi. He said, Janjambure, we go indoors at 6 o'clock in Janjambure.
But
the days he is on duty by 5 o'clock, whether you like it or not, he will tell us to go in.
So now surrounding Kuala.
So after that lockup, one day early in the morning, he came and stood over us. Because all our people were asleep, I was the one awake. The 2 of them came. They had a list. I got up and sat down and I asked them, what is the problem? He said, some few people among you will have to go and pound. I said, then pounding? They said, yes. What kind of pounding?
Because I
said to them, when the judgment took place at the courthouse, we were not locked up with hard labor. Now you people want us to go and do work. For what reason do you want us to go and work? I was angry. I in fact insulted them.
So after
that, after some time, Jiso, who was responsible for the prisoners, I saw him coming. I called him, I said to him, come. I said to him, when we were leaving the court, what did they say? He repeated what was said at the court. He asked them, why do you have to come here and tell these people to go and work? Who gave you that order? He had an argument with them, then he drove them out.
So
that's how we stayed there. But we saw that the food that is given to us there, that food is better for us than being at mile 2. Had we known, we would have stayed there before they bring us to mile 2. We spent 1 month, 15 days there. Within those 1 month, 15 days, in the Ramadan, on the last 10 days of the Ramadan, that's the time I fell sick. In my sickness, I called them. I called Jiso. I said to him, I am sick. I asked him, can I get medication? Can I be visited by a doctor? When the doctor came and looked at me, but before he came, it took a long time. So after he came, he prescribed a medicine for me. So when we go to the court, when coming, some people offer us some money. So these monies are given to this prison officer to keep it for us. List down. And he lists it down. So we use that money to buy bread. The bread we use to cut our fasts. We have to buy that because they don't give us bread every day. The ones we found there, on the 9th of the Ramadan, they were unable to get bread. So when we go to the courthouse, on the way back, we buy a lot of bread. So when coming, we buy 42 loaves of bread. Because we had some provisions with us like milk and others.
Mr. Touray, so it is correct that you're telling this commission that you served part of your sentence in Janjanbureh?
Mr. Touray, amunta nyimtonyalti kafo commission enne ko ila solo ndiro nyi wicho nyi ko atalante mo be yo be la Janjanbureh kasibungol.
Yes. And then you were later transferred to serve the rest in Mile 2 Central Prison.
Inara ne bondi Janjanbureh ye saundi kasibumba do membe Mile 2 jang ye soro njefana.
Mebola makate tu moment na fana wolum fana samala embute for Mile 2.
The day I was leaving Makati to come to Mile 2, we came under the rain. I was beaten by the rain up to Mile 2.
Can you tell this commission if you served your whole sentence of 3 years?
No, I didn't spend all the prison sentence.
Can you explain to this commission how your release came about?
I spent 8 months and 4 days in prison.
So Mile 2.
When we were brought back to Mile 2, after reaching Mile 2,
Operation Commander,
we found out that the operation commander,
Ibrahima
Jammeh,
known as Tochora,
and his nickname is Tochora, known as Tochora.
So Kabirim Futara,
when we arrived,
this said Ibrahima Jammeh. Can you tell this commission what his position was?
Operation Commander.
He was the operation commander at that time.
Was it of the prison at Mile 2?
Mile 2 jam prison kasola atam operation notinun.
Yes.
And you've just said something interesting. You said he was commonly known by another name.
And ye todo fajam yalango to nyabore mbala mola miko ikafo nyadile.
Chief Tochora.
He is known as the Chief Tochora.
Thank you. You may continue.
So, when
we arrived, the news we found there, they said, those of us who just came from Makati, because of us, all the prisoners in the prison there, those in the prison who usually get provisions from their relatives and they get other things from people, Ibrahima Jammeh gave orders. He said, let them seize all those provisions and food from those people. And they were all put in bags. They went and threw them all away. He wants to see, he said that he wants to see that we who came and those we found there should all suffer. When Because before we left Mile 2, there was a radio and TV.
But I will be bondi.
He removed all of those things.
Communication,
He said they don't want us to communicate with anybody else. And all goes along with very bad food. Couscous, which you know is stained with soil. The foods were very poor. The pap they give to people. The day, in fact, we were going out, that pap killed somebody there. He was a Sarahule man. They call him Yugo. Because what happens, it starts with swelling. But if it starts with your head and come down to your neck, you will die.
According to
what they said about this man was that he had a mental problem, he had a problem with his elder brother, and he took a cutlass against his elder brother. That's the reason why he was brought to prison. He just lived on that kind of food, eating it every day. That's what caused the problem for him.
So, Mr. Touray, you're telling this commission that the food quality was very poor at the prison.
Mr. Touray, munta ika for commission in ko domoro membe nun kasoto je domoro le meyalan ko amambeta ya ajawiyata bakele.
No, the food was really poor.
And further, that the conditions of the prison in general are poor.
Yes, it was very poor, and the conditions were very bad in the prison. In fact, when we were brought back,
the same place.
They took us back to the same place. And we were sealed again for 7 days.
Because
they said that's their law. If you arrive at that place, they will have to seal you for 7 days. We were sealed. That's how we stayed there. Then we were later taken out of the seal. So when it was time, we complained, and we were taken out of the seal situation.
Mr. Touray, you've also told the commission that you served 8 months of your sentence. Is that
correct? Yes.
And from your statement, you had indicated that you were released after the new government came in.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you were released?
When it was time for the election, during the election period, just like if tomorrow is going to be election day itself, the same Ibrahim Jammeh came around 7 o'clock prayer time.
Military confinement.
He came to the military confinement willing. The cells where we were incarcerated. The empty cells that were there. He said, let them clean all the empty cells around 7 p.m. He said they were going to get some guests. Because after the election, a lot of people will come there. When those cells were being cleaned, I was standing in my cell. Then I told him, the people who are going to occupy these cells will be you people. My other comrades in the other cells said, hey, don't say something like that. I said, yes, that's what's going to happen. These are the people who will occupy these cells.
What a baila.
And that will have to happen.
So mol melia e bulala wala mu molti melia jompa fingol du melia ko death sentence all the world.
The people he gave that task to clean the cells were the people who wore the black jumpers, and they were on the death row. They were the people on death row. Those are the people who cleaned all those cells. That's how it happened.
It is therefore correct to say that you were released based on a presidential pardon.
President Juma.
Which president?
The current president.
Hani?
No. It was the court which ordered our release.
Then can you explain that to the commission?
Because Kabirin fighter.
Because after the election, the time that the election took place, we were taken back to the courthouse.
So
then they decided to give us bail. Then we were bailed. During that bail period, our people brought their ID cards. That took place on a Thursday. That same Thursday, at night, that's the night that Yaya Jammeh said he is not leaving power, he wants to annul the election. If somebody says that it was Adam Barrow who released us, I know I'm not going to agree to that. Because Adam Barrow is somebody on the run. People were hiding him. How can he release us? He didn't release us. It was the court which released us. That's what we agree.
So you are telling this commission that you were later acquitted and discharged by the court.
Yes, it was the court which released us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Touray. Mr. Chair, I have no more questions for this witness.
Thank you very much, my counsel, and thank you, Mr. Touray, for coming to testify.
Yaman ko inimbara bake council inimbara bake sedo ila songola pour kanela sede andero di commission nyati no la jang.
Ndanga mero non ke fatama mo nyanchol leti manen insana nyol ka nyanchol bar malo no ngafo Touray ko ndankol fanan ka futa wol mal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I thought that the Nyanchos or the warriors were Sane and Mane. I didn't know that Touray was also part of them. But when I came out, I gave myself another name. I tell people that I am Manju. Yes.
People with
the surname of Touray are really people who are afraid.
Well, thank you so much, Emma, for coming to testify. And sorry you also had to suffer a lot in the hands of the system, not just NIA, but also the prison officers as well.
Haninka biya fole masa kola kolea kola men taki andunga manke nyinde ko men sor kolea kol men sor ya soto NIL drone bulu bari hanina tanko bunda kota mol memu kasolan kol do gulalti.
And thank you for coming to help the Commission to create a historical record of the violations that occurred in this country.
Haninka biya fole ya baraka ba kala songola pour kanaka commission o dema pour ka tarika lori ngol sabatindi me ya lonko nyanta hadama ngol la nyanta tinyal men kata banku kanjang.
Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate.
Siangka be nyinin karo la commission ala bulu ning atra momo nyinin karo sore ite sedo kasujini la kuma kangola isi atandi.
If there are no questions, if you have any final remarks to make, Mr. Touray, please proceed to do so now.
Commissioner moma itandiko moma tandiko kai nyinin karo sore ne silam Mr. Touray ni tafana kuma sore be la fla kamen fo banko molie isi tendeng yafo.
Okay. Ma kabelem findi la prison.
Me, when I left the prison, I didn't have better health. I am a carpenter man. I make roofs.
But
my hand, I realized that it had a problem during the time I was being tortured. Because I used to use my left hand in most of my jobs. But after using my left hand, hammering too much with my left hand, it swells up. So I got that at the torturing place, and I usually get winded up. The whole of my body pain. It is my wife who usually massages me to stand on my body every morning. I in fact left this place. Victim Center in Dema. The victim center helped me. Senegal. I went to Senegal. I got some medication from Senegal. I drank them. So it really helped me and improved my health. But within these days, it started up again, and even at this present moment, because of the long time I took sitting down, it has started troubling me. And also, sorry, I forgot something. The time they arrested me, my wife was at that time pregnant. I left her pregnant. She was 7 months plus. So I didn't the baby she later delivered was a male. And they brought the news for me at the remand. So the news was given to Usenu. He came to me and gave me the information. And I gave him back the respect. I returned it to him. He took it. Then the child was named after Antuman Gay. The child is here presently. There's this young man, and he is here with his mother. Yes. So I knew I had a lot of difficulties. And these problems really hit me hard. I always suffer from one ailment whereby there is a special medicine I always buy from the pharmacy. And if I drink that medicine, that's the time I always get relief. Plus some tribal medicine which I also use. Because of that, I cannot walk properly now. Because when I was leaving Dakar, the lady there told me, don't lift heavy things anymore. But I cannot do that. I cannot have a family and keep on begging people every time. But friends that I have with me, sometimes I join them to do some walks with them. So but from time to time, when the pain becomes big on me, I have to leave the job. It prevented me even to take a house, to rent a house where to live with my family. And because of the sustenance of the family, if I want to do that, one of my children, I sent him to a private school, which is expensive, but I had to take him out of that school because of this problem. Grade 11. Right now he's in grade 11.
So na member dindi manyu member wakang wobe damen abe boarding school menton kajola 6,000.
The other one, my other child, he's attending a boarding school, which I have to pay 6,400.
So mbelare mbungo men kono mo worol beje.
The house I am occupying, we are 6 in that house. I had 4 daughters and 1 male child. My 3 daughters, their mother has passed away. She was my first wife.
So then
after that, that's the time I decided to get married again to the second wife, and which coincided with this problem. I have my other colleagues here, like Modou Ngom, he is here. Modou Fati is here.
Binta
Nyabali is also here. These 2 people, the lady is my younger brother, and this
Mariama
Touray and Bakari Touray are my younger brothers. My younger brother and sister. I have one other friend, junior friend here called Bubakar Jobate. And also the lawyers who stood for us. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for them day and night. Because they stood for me and they really helped me until we got out of this problem. May Allah reward them. And you people doing this job, sitting down here, the good job that we are doing for this country, may Allah reward you too. May Allah protect us from any trouble. May Allah give us all long life and good health and progress. What I'm going to place on that, what I'm going to tell the Gambians, let's keep our minds on each other. We were all born in this country. If you happen to touch Lamin, well, that will resonate on Brahma. If something is like that, then we should keep our minds on each other. Yesterday, this serious problem that happened here, nobody thought that something like this will ever happen here. But these things were meted out on us by our own fellow Gambians. If anybody also took part who is not a Gambian, those people were brought in there by Gambians. That's how things stand. So I'm also appealing to everybody for forgiveness, because we've sat down for a long time. The Sisekunda elder man, greetings to you. Babagalle, greetings to you too. Plus all of you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Touray, for coming to testify before the Commission.
Mr. Sise isonta kana sede yaro la commission nyatilingola. Before I release you, I want you to clarify one point.
Ado son Talibani ye kati fendola fa manko imma ne bunya di mola kadindi untola ma kulli no asi bunya nyin tambindi do maba.
Well, what I want to ask you is it part of our culture if you give respect to somebody, to name your child after somebody and give that respect to that person, can it be returned to somebody else again? If that person cannot if that person cannot do a naming ceremony for the child. Yes, that's what we know. That's what is respect. Because my leader, after my wife delivered, he was the person who was called and given the information.
So
Then he also came and called me, and he told me,
because
the way he told me is that he is also my bantamate, and he told me that I have something which I'm selling. What are you going to pay me? I said, to pay you, I don't know what I'm going to pay you with. Then I said to him, well, you have to wait until I come out.
Okay.
That's the time he told me, yes, your wife has delivered. Then I said, okay, what has she got? He said, your wife has got a male child. I said, well, that's very good news. I said to him, then this affair is now all left with you.
So
that's how things panned out. Until they gave the child a name. During the time that the baby was given a name, or the naming ceremony took place, that's the time they took us to Makati. That's how it happened.
Thank you very much, for that clarification. That brings us to the end of the proceedings for this session. We will resume in an hour's time this afternoon at 2:30. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you again, Mr. Touray.
Mr. Touray.